Hey guys, Panther0822 here. Alright, I know you guys can't see me at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to be getting back into Magic, or doing some Magic stuff. So,
Plus, you can take advantage of their reaction to sounds, chucking a Molotov cocktail to the roof of them and watching on as they all charge towards the noise, setting themselves on fire.
Right.
Imagine being so conditioned by a noise that you just run towards it whenever you hear it. Ice cream!
That is so not right.
Oh, sorry, that is something completely horrible sound effects.
I have no idea why this is saying Star Wars Tuesday when, along with playing Star Wars, when I already updated this. Wife is just running away. Well, I think that deck is going to be a pretty solid deck. I think it could be better, but I also think we don't have the cards to make that happen. But I think the way that it's built right now, it'll be a headache to deal with, which is good. Alright guys, sorry about that. Needed to get things shared out and taken care of. So, alright. I think that's going to be about as good as we're going to get. But I do think that camera needs to move to that top left corner. Alright, there we go. Alright guys, so last stream you saw me kind of basically tear apart a lot of different stuff, organize some things and things like that, and then kind of briefly go over my red deck that I've got. Unfortunately, I did a horrendous no-no and I took apart my wife's deck, and she was rightly very pissed at me. But the cards that were used in that deck, I've got separated into her deck box. So at this point, we just need to go back through and attempt to remake it, is I guess the operative. But we're not going to work on that tonight. That's a different project. This deck is another one of my wife's decks, and what we're going to do is we're going to tear this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tear the deck apart. I'm going to, more specifically, I'm going to break it out. I'm not going to tear it apart. I'm not going to destroy it. I'm going to break it apart. I'm going to show you kind of how that process works, and then I'm going to kind of step you guys what I'm seeing as far as potential issues with the deck, and then if I think I've got the cards, I'll attempt to fix it. I'm not sure I've got the cards to fix it, because right now the amount of cards that I have right now, it's pretty limited. I do not have near the selection I used to have. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. I am here. Are you having a hard time hearing me, Kluber? Unfortunately, with this setup, all I've really got to reference is my phone, and on my phone I can see me in the top left corner, and then I can see the other camera set up. So if you guys can't hear me, please let me know. Based off the tests that I've done, you guys should actually be able to hear me though. If the music is too loud, and I've turned it down a lot, but if it's still too loud, let me know. So, alright. So, first things first, whenever you're breaking apart a deck to see what's going on with it, or even when you're building a deck, is you separate things out into creatures on the bottom half, spells on the top half. Okay? So, and you guys all kind of saw me do this last time, but I'm going to go a little more into detail than I did last time. We're going to start at the lowest casting cost and go to the highest casting cost, is how we're going to do this. Okay, so let's get to it. Or I'll try and troubleshoot a tech issue. Okay. Alright, I know you guys can hear the fan noise, and when I'm over here looking at the software and talking, I can see the volumes going up. So I know at the moment you can't see me, but can you hear me? Although I've got another way I can test this. All right. I went over to the computer and actually went to the actual stream itself and actually hit the thing. The other thing is I've got my other phone and I can actually pull the stream up here, and then I can actually kind of check some things on this as well. Is that better, Kluber? Turning the music off, did that actually help? That was I was watching the stream on my phone, and I think the fan is creating a lot of, so, yeah. Alright, I'm probably going to get really, really hot because this apartment sucks in that regard, but... Alright, how's that? I was listening on my phone, I did hear a lot of noise. Okay. Alright, let's get to it. I've wasted enough time. Alright, so we're going to start up top. So we've got a Suborn Denial. It's a 1 blue instant, and it counters target non-creature spell. Unless its controller pays 1. Not exactly the best, but there are definitely more efficient counterspells than that one. Alright, this one is a Bear's Companion. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green, 2 colorless, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, put a 4/4 green bear creature token into the battlefield. That's actually really cool. It's a 2/2 for 4 that gives you another dude, which is actually really, really cool. Alright, this is a 3 cast 4/2 bear. More land. Actually, it'll probably just be faster if I go through this, pull the land out first, and then we can do the rest of what we're trying to do. It's usually a lot easier to actually break a deck out when you separate out the land first, because then that way the main stuff you're focusing on is actually just the stuff. This is Magic the Gathering. That's actually what this is. I don't remember the name of the sets as far as what these are from, but these particular sets I got a couple years back, so it's one of the older sets. All right, that's a 2-drop bear. So I'll go over these cards a little bit more once I've actually had everything broken out, because then it'll actually give me a chance to actually look at things a little bit more. That's a 5. There's also a 5. One an X, that is an artifact. That goes up there. That actually goes there. Alright. That's a 1-drop, 2-drop. Savage Punch. 2. That is 6. That is an expensive creature. That is... That's 4. That's another artifact. That's a 7-caster. That is an absolute brute. 6/7 for 7. Or 6/7 for 6, depending on which way you do it. Alright. I missed a land. Three, 2, 4, and 2. All right. We are going to group some of these cards a little bit so that we can actually see them. Actually see what's going on with the deck. So that's kind of important. It's important to be able to see what's going on in India. Okay. No worries as far as that goes. I understand schedules and things like that. So I completely understand. All right, so we've got got a couple of things that I'm kind of seeing some things already. That's an issue. So we'll tackle that here in a minute. Okay. I know that we had at least I thought we had one more. We did. I just put this on the wrong pile. Okay. Alright, so we've got a couple different 3-drops here. And we've got a couple of 2-drops that are actually kind of cool. And yeah. Okay, so this is the deck completely broken out. So here's what we've got. In starting creatures, we've got an Elven Mystic. He's a green 1/1 creature that comes out for 1 green. If you tap him, he gives you a land source. Specifically, he adds 1 green to your mana pool. This is actually a really good card. It helps with your land acceleration. So this is actually a good card. We'll want to actually look at adding at least 1, probably 2 more of him into this deck. Okay. Then let's get into our 2-drops. We've got a couple different 2-drops. We've got a Runeclaw Bear. He's a 2/2 for 2. Oh, that's all he is. He's just a 2/2 for 2. So not a bad card. We've got Air the Wilds, which is another 2/2 for 2. Death Touch. Death Touch is a really cool ability. What that means is even if the creature is bigger than this card, that creature will die. Death Touch is the new basically Basilisk feature. Is basically how that equates. So alright, so that's what we've got there. That's a good card. We'll probably actually leave that. The next one is a 1 blue, 1 green Ice Feather Aven. It is a 2/2 creature that flies. And if there's an ability called Morph, and here's the way that works. You can tap 3 land, bring this card in face down. It's a 2/2 creature for 3. Slightly expensive, but not bad. However, it has an ability called Morph. If you pay the Morph, the card turns face up. Okay, and some cards, when they turn face up, have cool abilities. So when this card gets turned face up, you can return another target creature to its owner's hand. That's a very, very cool ability. Very, very useful. The only downside is there's only 1 in the deck, and the card's uncommon. I don't think I've got another one, which means sadly it'll probably end up going. We've got an Alpine Grizzly, which is a 4/2 for 3. Not a bad price. We've got a Summit Prowler. He's a 4/3 for 4. He'll probably end up going. And then we've got a couple of things here in our 5 drops. We've got a 5/5 for 5. That by itself is a good thing. And this is a Pine Walker. It's an elemental. We've only got one of them in the deck though. He's got an morph ability, but when you morph him, oh, that's cool. So when this card turns up, when you morph him, another creature you control that is turned face up. Untap that creature. Kind of cool. Again, I mean 5/5 for 5. That by itself is kind of worth it, but not quite fitting kind of what I'm seeing so far. The attempt of the theme of the deck is, which is kind of a bear theme. So if we're kind of going with a bear type theme for the deck, we're going to want to take some cards out. Get the deck a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more functional. Alright, so this is an Elephant Warrior. He's a 6/4. It's an avalanche something. Target creature, defending player. Okay, so basically what this says is if there's a creature available, they have to block this card. Not bad, but again, a bit pricey. Thundering Giant is a 4/3 for 5 with haste. Not bad. A little expensive, but not bad. Bear's Companion is the 2/2. We're going to leave the Bear's Companion. We only got one, but it's a good card, and we like it a lot. And then there's a 5/5 for 6. And this is the Snowhorn Rider. It also is a morph. Doesn't do anything cool on morph, but it's a 5/5 for 6 with trample. That by itself is actually pretty solid. So again, already kind of seeing some things where we're a little spread as far as some things go. Alright, I actually need to move those over, but I'll do that another time. Alright, so this is a 6/5 for 6. That by itself is moderately decent, but doesn't have any other abilities. 4/5 for 6. Again, nothing special. Its morph is slightly cheaper. Probably gonna go. Probably not gonna stay in the deck. 6/7 for 7. That by itself is solid. But again, expensive and doesn't quite fall in the theme. Alright, so let's take a look at our spell base. Yes, Death Touch is good. We like Death Touch. Alright, so 1 green and X. So basically you tap 1 green and then additional land. And then that additional land does something. So in this particular case, this is Windstorm. Windstorm will deal X damage to each creature with flying. This by itself is a very solid card. It's a good card. There's only 1 copy of it. Probably will stay in the deck anyways just because of what it does. Stubborn Denial is a 1 blue counter target non-creature spell. Unless its controller pays 1. Probably is going to be taken out of the deck.
This one is 1 blue and X, and tap X target creatures. Good solid card. Probably is actually going to stay in the deck. Even though it's a 1 of, it's a functional 1 of. So yeah. Alright, so that is our 1-drops. In our 2-drops, we've got a couple things. We've got a Titanic Growth. I actually know that this card is actually in that box. I'm probably actually going to grab a couple more. It's a fantastic card. It is, if you remember Giant Growth is a 1 green +3/+3. This is 1 green, 1 colorless. Target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. This is a good card. Keeps things alive, protects things. Good card. We're going to make sure we get a couple extras in here. The next one is Savage Punch. 1 green, 1 colorless. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Okay? This has an ability called Ferocity. Here's what Ferocity says. The creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn before it fights. If you control a creature with power, which is the first number on a creature. The first number on a creature is its power, 4 or greater. So if I've got a creature in play with a power 4 or higher, the creature that I am putting this on gets +2/+2. It's a good thing. Little difficult to play timing wise, but it's a good card. Will probably stay in the deck simply because it is a good solid boost. Alright, Force Away is a blue card. 1 blue, 1 colorless. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Good card. Good way to deal with something, because at the beginning of turn, if they've only got 1 creature, you tap 1 blue, 1 colorless, you bounce that card back into their hand, and then you swing with the creature that you have. It's a good way to actually get some things in. We may probably actually add in at least 1 more, maybe 2 more. We'll see. Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike is one of my most favorite cards. I love this card to death. Oh, bummer. All right, Gloober. Have a good night, bud. We're gonna do. We're still gonna do a den time. So if you're able to do that, cool. If not, I get it. Have a good night, and I'll see you on the next stream. If you've got any questions, send me a message. Okay. Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Good card. I love this card to death. Alright, Dragon Grip is this is now getting into our 3 casters. Okay, so Dragon Grip, 1 red, 2 colorless. It has the Ferocity, which is really cool. The Ferocity is if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, which a good number of these creatures are 4 or greater. So this deck is designed to actually work with this particular ability, which is good. Which is why we've got these higher end things. Looking at that, most of these actually have that. Have that Ferocity. Keeping some of these cards in that have that power 4 or higher is good, but due to that, a lot of the creatures in here are bears. I want to see what I can do to find what I have, if I've got any bears, and if I do, I want to take a look and see what they are as far as things go, because when it comes to the Ferocity, or it's Furious. When it comes to the Furious, I want to make sure that we're hitting that Furious in this deck. It's very, very important. Very important. Okay. I can play this card as if it has Flash. Flash is a really cool ability because Flash means I can play the card as an instant, which is a good thing. Okay. It's an enchant creature. Enchanted creature has +2/+0 and has first strike. This is a very, very good card. And that first strike ability is very cool. Say you've got two creatures that are both 2/2 creatures. Okay? The first strike means that my 2 points of damage hits that creature first, and my creature stays alive. That's what first strike does. First strike is a good thing. We like first strike. So, the other benefit to this, because this is +2/+0, if I put this on, say, again, a 2/2, and that means my creature now becomes a 4/2, which is awesome, and they've got, say, a 4/4. My 4 points of damage hits their creature first, killing their creature first. My creature lives. Good thing. Good card. Again, a little bit of a timing thing with it, but done right, it's a good, solid card. Alright. These two, I can actually pretty much guarantee they're coming out. They're a 3-cast artifact. If I tap it, they give me either a green, a blue, or a red. Not a bad card, but for what I need in this deck, or what my wife is needing in this deck, this does not work. I'd much rather trade 2 of these out and add 2 more of the Dragon Grips and go that way. Plus, I've got multi-lands that actually give me additional stuff and give me cool stuff. So, good card, but that one I know for a fact is coming out. Alright, this one is a Tumor Charm. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green. It gives me I can choose one of basically 3 abilities. 3 abilities? 3 abilities. Some of them have 4, some have 3, some have 2. So it is a matter it's a matter of which one I wish to choose. So I can either A, target creature I control gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it fights a target creature that I don't control. Not bad. Option B is I can counter a spell unless its controller pays 3. Good option. I like it. Option C is creatures with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. Good card. Honestly, probably staying in just because of what it does. Good way to go. Alright. The last one is Roar of Challenge. And this is a sorcery. 1 green, 2 colorless. All creatures able to block target creature this turn must do so. If you remember the old card Lure, that's what this is. This is a lure. Okay, what that means is I swing with my creature. I've got... So I'll put this so hopefully you guys can see it. Okay, so this is a 2/2 for 2. Again, 1 green, 1 colorless comes into play. It has Death Touch. This creature is awesome because what I do is I swing with this creature. Say they've got 3-4 creatures. They go, it's a 2/2, it has Death Touch. I don't want to block it. I'll just take the 2 damage. Not normally, for me, I don't necessarily care, but I go, okay, since you are doing that, I now cast 1 green, 2 colorless. I play this card that now declares that all creatures able to block must do so. So now, all of their creature cards that they were not deciding, you know what, I don't want to block that because otherwise I'm going to lose a creature. I now do this. Now all of their creatures have to block this card, and now all of their creatures die. So does my card. My card dies a horrible death. I don't care because it's got Death Touch. It got rid of their board state. That made me very, very happy. So, again, little tricks of the trade and things like that. So, good stuff. All right. So, here's what I'm noticing with this deck. It's a little too spread out. It's way too spread out. It doesn't quite know what it wants to do. It doesn't know if it wants to be a speed deck and hit things on as quick and hard as possible. It doesn't know if it wants to counter stuff and be delay deck and delay things until late turn and go from there. That's the problem. The problem is the deck doesn't know what it wants to do. And so at this point, what I need to do is take a look and see if there's any consistent theme and then try and follow that theme. And what I am seeing is that I need to have things that take advantage of the ferocity, which is fantastic. I can definitely do that. And then I also want to take advantage of a few other things. So as much as I like certain things, I'm probably actually gonna dominantly pull the red out of the deck altogether. There's no reason for the red, even though I really like Dragon Grip. Dragon Grip is a great card. I'm probably gonna pull the red. The other option that I have is to pull the cards that don't work for the deck and then get cards in it that do work for the deck and will stabilize the deck. And that's probably the major thing whenever it comes to a deck build is to stabilize the deck so that it can be efficient at what it needs to do. So, as much as I like this guy right here, as much as I like him, he's really cool. 1 blue, 1 green. He's a 2/2 flyer for 2. Really great. Doesn't fit the deck, so he comes out. Okay. Same with sorry. Gonna move that. I think that adjusted something a little too much. Okay. I like the card. It doesn't fit. It's got to come out. Again, the Summit Prowler, really great. Works really well with the ferocity. The downside is he's a 4/3. He's a 4/3 for 4. That doesn't really do much for me. He's got to go. I like it. I like him, but he's got to go. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this. That's technically 6 drops. We'll look at the 6 drops here in a minute. So out of my 5 drops, I've got 3 different 5 drops. I've got a 5/5 for 5, double green, 3 colorless, morph. Works really great with the where is it? With the Furia's trigger. But other than that, he doesn't serve much good, so for the most part, he's got to go too. I like him a lot, but he doesn't fit the deck. Thundering Giant, 4/3 for 5 with haste. Him along with the Dragon Grip would actually the shock, the Lightning Strike. These 3 alone are a good enough reason to actually leave red in the deck. Those 3 alone would actually be a reason. This guy's a 6/4 for 5. Whenever he attacks, target creature, defending player controls, blocks if possible. Good card. I actually like this because with him, this actually serves a lot of possibilities and things like that. So I like that a lot. So that can actually stay. We're good with that. And it helps with our trigger. So we're good there. The Alpine Grizzly. Great card, 4/2, works with the trigger, but I'm not sure he's going to stay. All right, let's get into our 6 drops. Actually, I can go over here and check over here. There we go. Okay. So, Bear's Companion. Bear's Companion is staying. He's a 2/2 for 6 when he comes into, or sorry, he's a 2/2 for 5. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green, 2 colorless. So comes in for 5, but when he comes into play, he makes a 4/4 Bear Dork. I like that. That's good. That's usable. That helps a lot with our Ferocity trigger. Works well. He stays. The next guy is the Snowhorn Rider. Snowhorn Rider is a 6 caster. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green, 3. He's a 5/5 with trample for 6. I like that. That can work. He can stay. We're good. And again, it helps with the trigger. Our 6/5 for 6. It's a tusked Casolodon. Other than the trigger, I don't like him. He's a 6/5 for 6 is not bad, but he doesn't serve a function. He needs to go. We need to find something more functional for him. So we can do that. This guy, the Glacial Stalker, he's a 4/5 for 6. Again, I don't like him. He doesn't, other than the trigger, which is not enough of a reason to leave him in the deck. Other than the trigger, not worth it. It's an expensive card. It's got to go. And then our 6/7 for 7. Again, I can bring him in more, so I can tap 3, bring him in as a 2/2 for 3, not bad. I can flip him for 6, so I can flip him for 1 less. Not a reason to keep him in the deck, though. He's got to go. Okay. So now that we've gone through our creatures and pulled out the stuff there, let's go through our spells. Let's take a look at our spells. Let's see what we've got that we could potentially leave in that's going to help. At the moment, we still have 2, 4, 5 because he creates it, 6, 7. 7 total creatures that have a 4 or higher power. We're gonna hit the Furious trigger. So that's good. We've got cards to hit Furious. So we're good there. Windstorm, fantastic card. 1 green X deals X amount of damage to flying creatures. If I've got an opponent who's got a plethora of flying creatures, which is actually a very serious threat in Magic, creatures that can fly and you don't have a way to deal with it is a problem. This needs to stay because it helps us deal with flying. Icy Blast taps out their creatures. It's a good way to do it. So timing on something like Icy Blast. I don't have anything in hand. I don't have any creatures. I don't have a counter spell. I don't have anything, but I do have an Icy Blast. I say go. I'm done. They go through. So the way that turns work in Magic is you have an untap phase, where you untap everything that you tapped from the previous turn. You have an upkeep phase. The upkeep, during upkeep, there's some cards that have an upkeep phase. So during your upkeep, you do something. So you untap everything so that you can pay for your upkeep. If you don't have anything to do during upkeep, then you draw for the turn. Okay? Then you have your first main. During your first main, you can play a land, you can summon a creature, or do a spell, or do something. You can do something during your first main. Then you have your attack phase, where you attack your opponent and you try and deal damage so that you can kill them. After your combat phase, you have second main. And then you have your end step, and then you're done. Okay? So that's the way the turns break down. Alright? So, until your opponent go. They go through their untap phase. They go through their upkeep. They draw for the turn. At that point, I do Icy Blast. I tap my 1 blue. I tap my things. Boom. Say they've got 4 creatures available. It's late game. I've got a total of 5 land. One enough to cover each of their creatures. They just untapped everything. They drew for the turn. I hit Icy. I tap my stuff. Icy Blast. Boom. All of their creatures are tapped. Unless they've got a way to either counter it or untap their creatures, I just took their combat phase away from them. Good thing. Very, very good thing. It keeps me alive longer. Okay? That's why it's important to time it that way. They go into combat. All their creatures are tapped. Unless they've got a creature that they dropped into play that has haste. Okay? Which they'd have to bring in after I did the Icy Blast. Okay? You only get 1 combat turn per thing unless you've got a card that states otherwise. Okay? So, again, with this game, timing is everything. Because if you don't time things right, you will get so hosed. It's not even funny how hosed you get if you're not careful with your timing. So, timing is everything. We like Icy Blast. We're going to leave it in there. It is a rare card. I doubt I have any more of it. But it is going to stay in deck because of what it allows me to do. And those are my 1-drops. 1-drops are good. They're staying. Okay. 2-drops. Savage Punch. Savage Punch is fantastic. 1 green, 1 colorless. Target creature you control fights another creature that I don't control. If the Furious triggers, which means I've got a creature in play with power 4 or higher, my creature gets +2/+2. Good card. It's a good deal. So typically this is something I do a little bit later in game. I can do it early game if I so choose, if I know I'm going to win. But that being said, it's definitely more of a late game card. Titanic Growth, it stays. It's a way for me to protect one of my creatures, like the Heir of the Wild. Heir of the Wild is a 2/2. I know it's going to die, even though it's got Death Touch and it killed that creature. I know it's going to die. One of the great things for me to do with it is to do a Titanic Growth on it. Keeps my creature alive, and I'm happy. It's a good thing to do. The other thing that I can do is because I've got the Snowhorn Rider. The Snowhorn Rider has Trample. It's a 5/5. Say they block with another creature that's equal. It's a 5/5. So they're just going to kill each other. I can Titanic Growth. This is now a 9/9. Number 1, my creature stays alive. It makes me happy. Number 2, that's also 4 points of damage that's going to carry over and hit them. Good deal. That makes me happy. That's why Titanic Growth is a great card. We're going to get more of it in the deck. Force Away. Force Away is a really good card. Return target creature to owner's hand. Good card. It's going to stay. We're going to get more copies of it. Honestly, I think the rest of these are great. I don't think there's actually any reason for me to take anything further out of the deck. At this point, what I want to do is I want to replace the cards that I took out. They don't serve any purpose. I don't have any reason to keep them in the deck. They need to go. but I've got to replace it so I can get the deck back up to 60 cards. A deck can be more than 60 cards in legal tournament. It has to be, but it can't be smaller than 60 cards. The only exception to that is where you're in something like a draft tournament, and draft tournaments work differently because you have 3 booster packs. The way a draft tournament works is, one, you pay for the boosters, so you've got to pay for those. And then what you do, you open up booster, you thumb through the booster pack, you take 1 card out of that, and you pass the rest of the booster around. And you continue until all 3 booster packs are gone. By the time you're done, you'll have enough cards to make a 40-card deck. That's the way that those work. They're really, really cool. They're great. It's actually a really fun way to play. I've actually done kind of a mock draft tournament before. But that being said, it's not. I don't really do tournament play. I've thought about it. I really have. But my heart's not really in tournament. I might do a tournament here or there just for the experience, because tournaments are a great experience, and you get to see other decks that are out there and that other people are playing, and yeah. So I mean, that's why tournaments are great, is because you get to see what's out there. And tournaments are a blast. They're they are a lot of fun. So, all right. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm actually going through and grabbing I'm grabbing the blue stuff because there's a couple of specific cards that I'm looking for. So I need to see if I've got extra copies, and if I do, fantastic. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm also pulling out the other colors so that it's easier for me to put things back. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. All right, I don't need black because we're not doing anything black with, at least not with this deck. But we do have some things in red, and we need to get to our red so that we can and then we also need to get to our green because some of the things that we want are also in green. Okay. So there is the red stuff that we need to go through so that we can find the specific stuff that we're looking for there. And then we also need to do the same for okay. So there we go. I'm gonna put that box right there because that's how I'm gonna. Okay, so I knock over a good section of the blue cards. All right. So blue can go over there. Red can go right there, and green can go right here. And I think I'm going to have to actually pull some things out of that box right there. Because I don't think... I should have more Elven Mystics, but I don't remember... Yeah, I don't have any Elven Mystics. But I do need Savage. I've got 2 Savage Punch, so I want at least 1 more Savage Punch. And then I need at least 2 more Titanic Growths. So I need to get to my spells. That is creature. More creature, and then there's my spells. All right. So let's see what we've got. Ooh, I've got more windstorms. I've got 2 more windstorms. I think we'll actually do 2 windstorms. That'll be good. And then I've got another Savage Punch. I wanted 1 more, at least 1 more Savage Punch, so that's good. And then okay, so that is. So that's actually really, really good. Okay. So we are now at 3 Savage Punches, which is good. And 3 wind. I might drop it down to 2 wind. We will see. But with that being said, I've added 3 cards, so I need to pull 3. So the 3 that I think we're gonna take out right now is. All right. So those 3 right there are for those 3. Okay, so that's that. I need here. All right. Yep. There's an Elven Mystic right there. I want 2 more Elven Mystics. So there's 2 more right there. Okay. And then I want to see, actually I've got another one of you. Fantastic. All right, so we still need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more things. Okay, we've got a couple more Alpine Grizzlies. We'll see. Netcaster Spider is fantastic, but for what we're looking for, it does not work. There is 2 more roars right there. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Okay. The Elven Mystics are great because they help us with land acceleration, which is always a good thing. And when you're dealing with a deck where you've got higher end stuff that's expensive, you need it. It definitely helps. The Heir of the Wilds are fantastic. I like the Heir of the Wilds. They are going to help us deal with some things. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking as much as I like Savage Punch, I might actually pull Savage Punch. I like Savage Punch. It's a good card. It's a good thing, but I'm thinking I might actually pull the 3 Savage Punch. Here's an interesting question. I'm half tempted to actually pull the red. But I might actually just pull no, because I think I want 2 or 3 more of those. Because what I can do, actually that can kind of stay. As much as I like this guy, I'm thinking of actually pulling him out. Thinking of pulling him out for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've only got one of them, so it means I'm not going to see it frequently. And 2, he doesn't really help with the Furious trigger. And right now, I want more ways to actually, or more specifically, I either want more ways to burn. I'm not sure I've got any more of him. That'll be, and actually that factors into the decision a little bit, as whether I've got, oh, I do. So I can do those 3 there. Looks like I need to go through my red a little bit and sort it out a little better because it's also a little bit mixed right now. Yeah. The main thing is I've got to basically make it so that I can stay alive, so that I can end the game. That's basically what I've got to do. So I've got to curtail the deck in a particular way. And because this particular deck is more top end heavy, and what that means is casting cost 4s and higher, the low end of the deck has to get me there. It's got to protect me, it's got to get me there, and it's got to help. So I like this, and I like this. I like both of these cards. I really do. But if I'm looking at keeping my butt alive, or more specifically, keeping my wife's butt alive as much as possible, I need to find ways to do that. And so the question is, do I keep the blue in so that I can bounce a card, or do I go something else? And I think bouncing creatures on turn 2, or being able to bounce things on turn 2, because that's really actually what this blue is. This blue is... although I might actually pull the Suborn. Unless its controller pays 1. Yeah, I think I'm going to pull it. Savage Punch is actually sideboard. a good part of a deck is actually having a functional sideboard, and Savage Punch is a good card for this deck, but I think it's a sideboard. All right, so we've got these three. So I think for those three, what we're gonna do. Actually, we might do these. These are a good card. Voidshare is a good card. It is a 1 blue. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. It's a good card. It's... And as much as I like this, good card, but if I run a 1-drop where I can bounce a permanent, so permanent being enchantment, creature, things like that, just bounce a permanent other than land. I can't bounce a land. I can bounce anything else, but I can bounce something for 1, much better deal. So I think that's what we're actually going to do. That also ups our 1-drop count to a lot. And as much as I like Windstorm, I think Windstorm might actually be our sideboard against flying, and I think we might look at a different green 1-drop. Yeah, I think we're going to look at a different green 1-drop. Alright, so in between this plus those, I also have to keep in mind that I'm building this deck or I'm reconstructing this deck for my wife, and a lot of times she will choose a card. Actually, I think those might go sideboard. She'll choose cards based off a coolness factor. So, and don't get me wrong, it's not a bad way to do things, but sometimes it doesn't work. So I think Windstorm is sideboard against a flyer deck. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. I think we might actually just do Van Elf. We've got 2 of those. Actually, I think we've got more than 2. So I think I've got to pull from there to grab the other one. Oh, that's right. I put it over here. Yeah. And we've got 3, so we're going to do 3. Okay. Windstorm, great card. It is sideboard though. So here's basically the way that if you're playing tournament, basically what happens if you've got your main 60 card deck, and then you've typically got about a 15 card sideboard, and basically what that sideboard is it's to board in against particular things. So game one, the deck is going to play this particular way. But say the person that she's playing against has a lot of flyers. So game two, she brings in the Windstorms in place of the Vine Elf. They're both casting cost 1, so I mean it's a casting cost wise, it's a good way to go. But the Windstorms are now going to let her actually deal with flying in a different. Is going to allow her to deal with flying, which is a good thing. So it's a good solid strategy. The other advantage of this particular card of Vine Weft is that for 5, so it's a late game thing, but if somebody gets rid of this for 5, it comes back. What that means is once it's in the graveyard, if she pays 5, 1 green and 4 colorless, it comes back and can be reattached. It comes back. This is a good card. It's a good way to do things. Because the main thing that this deck needs to be able to do is it needs to be able to protect itself until late game. Because that's where it's going to win. It's going to win late game. It's not. This deck is not going to win turn 4-ish. Not to say that it couldn't. I think we're gonna drop those 3. Okay. We're either going to drop those 3 or we're going to drop the 2 creatures. And yeah, all right. Okay. Shock 1, Shock 2. Shock is a 1 red, deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Good card. It's a sorcery. Sorceries are slow. An instant beats a sorcery. It looks like I need to go through my colors and actually re-sort and re-establish things. So here's what it looks like is going to happen. We are going to leave the 2 cast shock. We're going to take out the 2/2 for 2s. We're going to take out the bears. And we're going to add in 2 shocks. That's what we're going to do. That is the plan. So we're still leaving some big and scary stuff, but what we have done is we have basically refined we've refined what we're going to do. So on turn 1, we've got a lot of options on turn 1. Turn 1, we can drop a blue, leave it open, make them think. Always a good thing. Turn 2, we've got some other options. We've got a couple. For the most part, we have kind of two different win conditions. Either we're going to beat them to death with the ferocity, or we're going to beat them to death with the higher end creatures. And we've got enough low end stuff to do things with. Although what I may do is I might even take out the 4/2 bears, which I'm really leery to do. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we've got 4 of those. Target creature hits -5, -0. It's a good card. It works. 1, 2, 3. Did I sideboard it, maybe? I might have sideboarded it. I did sideboard it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Okay. So we either leave the Dragon Grips in, which are a good card. They're a great card. Enchanted creature gets +2, +0, and has first strike. That by itself for 3 is fantastic. If I've got a creature in play that's got a power of 4 or higher, and I've got a 3-drop that'll get me there, I think I've actually got 2 more of those. I think I do. 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 And if I do, then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull these 2 for this. Or at least I'm going to pull him for this. They're both a 5 cast. Well, no, this guy's a 6 caster. 5/5 for 5 with trample. Good card. This is a 6/4, forces everything, anything that can block it has to block it, which is good. That is a 4/3 for 5 with haste. Yeah, I think I'm going to sideboard it. That needs to go into something else. That actually needs to go over there. Black, white, red, 2/2. I've got one more. That'll be sideboard. Okay. All right, I've got to put everything back into my deck box there, but yeah, all right. And then the other thing that we've got to look at is we've got to look at the current land to see if the land's going to get us where we need to go. So I've got one land accelerator, which is good, because turn 1 I can drop 1 green, drop, boom. So the second turn I've got 3 land. That's actually very, very important, because the more land I can get, the faster, the better off things are going to be, the faster off. Because that means turn 2, I can drop an Alpine Grizzly, which is a 4/2. I can drop a 4/2 on turn 2. That's a problem. The other advantage of that is that synergy-wise works fantastic with the Dragon's Grip. Because turn 3, if I've got the right land, I can drop a Dragon's Grip onto the Grizzly, and now the Grizzly becomes a 6/2 with first strike. That's scary. If on turn 3 this hits, that's dangerous. That's game in 3 turns if they don't deal with it, is what that is. 6, 12, 18, sorry, 4 turns. Provided you haven't already been hitting them. So, I mean, this deck, based off of what I'm currently seeing, especially with the turn 1 options to either hit him in the face for 2, hit a creature for 2, tap all their creatures out, or boost one of my own creatures, give it a +1/+1. Turn 1, I've got a lot of options, which is very, very good. I have also streamlined the deck into a dominant green base, for the most part, creature-wise. For the most part, the deck is a dominant green deck, is what it is. It's dominant green. With a little bit of blue and a little bit of red. So I think we're good. I think right now what I need to do, other than some land things, is I need to verify how many total cards there are. As far as this goes, to make sure there's 36, and then I need to make sure that there's 24 land. So, that's sideboard. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 there. $14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. Okay. That means we've got space for 1. We've got space for one more card. So I think we'll bring you in. Yeah, that's what I think we're gonna do. Okay, so that should be 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. $15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fantastic. Okay. So 36 cards. We should have 24 land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4 extra land. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now what I want to do is I do actually want to separate out the land here real quick, see what we're running, and then I know that I'm going to want to make a change of some sort. I know that. Okay. Basic, 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 not basic. Basic, 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 not basic, basic, not basic, basic, and not basic. Okay. So, I know that I've got some special lands that will give me some stuff, but I want to make sure that I think they're actually towards the back that actually give me a little bit more. So that's red, white, black, black, green, blue, green, blue, red. I need that. Green, blue, red. I need that. I don't need that one. I don't need that one. Blue, red, white, no. Blue, red, white, no. White, black, green, no. Same. No. Involving wilds. I might actually consider Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds is actually a really good card. I'll consider it. What are these two cards hiding over here? Oh, that's more land. Okay. So that gives me green, blue, red. And I've got 2 of them. Now I do remember green, blue, red, green, blue, red. Green, blue, red. Green, blue, red. Okay. Considering that, and this gives me blue, green, blue, red. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take out those 2 for those 2. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this way is because this now gives me 4 individual land cards that will give me a green, a blue, or a red. I have 4 individual multi-lands that will give me one of the colors that I need in this deck. Okay. I've also got 1 card that comes into play that gives me a green or a blue. So, not entirely a bad way to go. I think for the most part the deck should actually play pretty smoothly because I've got a total, again, I've got 5 individual cards that'll give me blue, which is fantastic. I've got 5 multi-lands that will give me green, which is fantastic. I've got 4 that'll give me red, which is fantastic. This gives me what I need. And then I've also got the basic lands as well. So, let's pile it up. There we go. Double check our math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fantastic. All right. So, we now have a completed deck. So, give me a minute, guys. I'm going to reposition at least one of the cameras here, and then we'll, yeah. Oh, that is still looking way too high. All right, guys. All right. Well, I hope that that was insightful. I hope that I at least made that moderately entertaining. I hope. I know that when it comes to deck building and things like that, it's not always the funnest part of anything when it comes to Magic. Building a deck is honestly the most tedious part of the entire game, other than learning the rules. But it's a blast. So I really hope me going through the deck, actually talking to you guys about it, why I was making the decisions that I was making, I really hope that it was at least mildly entertaining. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that follow button up top along with the heart icon. I do game streams 7 days a week. I do a vlog 7 days a week. I'll actually, as soon as this is done, I'm going to take a couple of minutes. I'm a little hungry, so I'm going to grab something to eat, make some tea, and then we'll get launching into den time. So, and then again, I also do IRL stuff like this, where I will take apart a deck, take a look, see what's going on with it, see why it's not working or why it potentially isn't working, and then find a way to make the deck better and more functional. So yeah, if you guys are looking for other ways to help out, there's a donation link down below along with a suggestion box so that you guys can make suggestions, and the donation link is there so that you guys can help the channel out. And then there's also a link to Facebook and Twitter and the YouTube channel. So thank you guys again. I'll see you guys for the den time here in a few minutes. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next stream. Peace out, guys. Have a good night.